Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about giving birth during a pandemic over Christmas and New Year because let's be honest, it's pretty shit. So I'm going to try my best to do everything I can to make it as positive as possible. Step 1, plan and prepare. So the first steps of planning and preparing is to be able to know what's actually going on in there, because most of us don't actually know. Well, this is the most important thing. Knowledge is always power. So make sure you arm yourself with plenty of knowledge about how the body works. Now, you might not have time for books, but can you listen to Audible? There are some books that I really recommend you read, and they're really going to help prepare you for having the best possible birth experience. So that's The Positive Birth Book by Millie Hill, absolutely amazing and literally your Bible to birth. Mindful Hypnobirthing by Sophie Fletcher. This is such a great book to help you understand how the mind and body connection works and how you can utilize that in birth. It also covers a massive range of anatomy and physiology of birth, and it's really, really helpful. Birth plans. Who doesn't love a good plan? But plans don't always go to plan, right? What if you write a birth plan and it's completely opposite? This does happen sometimes and people are pretty pissed. But let me tell you something, a little secret what you should do when it comes to birth plans. Always have a plan A, B, and C. So your plan A is your ideal plan, it's your dream plan. Plan B is going to be your backup plan. So, okay, if this doesn't quite go to plan and I've got to have some changes, then what am I going to allow? What am I going to allow to happen? But what about plan C? Okay, so I'm not saying this is going to happen. It doesn't happen very often if you're going to have a normal vaginal birth, but it's always good to have a cesarean plan. Now, cesarean sounds so scary, and yes, of course, we don't want to go down that route if we don't need to. However, you can make a cesarean just as beautiful as any other birth. This is your birth and you have the right to have a gorgeous birth whatever way your baby comes into the world. So having a cesarean plan is really important so that when you do go, and if you are in that situation, they can accommodate you as best as possible. 2, trust your body. Now, your body is literally your lifeline. It knows what it's doing. It's actually pretty incredible what it can do, especially during labor and birth. Guys, you're birthing a baby out of your vagina that you've just grown for 9 months. I mean, how incredible is that? So I'm going to talk through a few ways how you can really build that trust connection with your body so that you are able to have a more relaxed and enjoyable birth. Okay, so let's start with pain. Pain. That's all I bloody hear all the time when people talk about labor, right? I mean, how many times have you heard someone turn around and say, it's going to be the worst thing in your life? Well, hang on a minute, Susan. I'm not prepared to listen to your horror story. This is not a drama. We're not on Coronation Street. You're not going to run down the corridor of the hospital, water's splashing everywhere and screaming. That is not reality, guys. So I'm going to explain to you how you can get pain out of your brain. There's special techniques that you can use in reframing and hypnobirthing, which can actually help to reduce the pain receptors. This is actually scientific, so why aren't we all doing it? I don't know. So actually understanding about this mind-body connection can really help you manage that pain and reduce it. The science goes something like this. So a negative emotional state will actually affect immunity and bodily functions. Positive emotions actually show activity of reduced illness and pain. You can read more about hypnobirthing on my website. 3, make it special. You've got this, guys. You can make your birth special, regardless of the situation, regardless of where you are, whether that be your environment, you haven't got your birth partner at a certain period of time. I'm going to go through a few things of how you can do this. The first thing is your environment. This is so important when it comes to birth. Your body and the oxytocin that's going to help drive that labor naturally wants to be cozy, warm, comforted, and in a dimly lit room full of happiness and positivity. It definitely doesn't want to be in a room full of bright lights and about 10,000 people talking about how they're going to stick a needle in your arm or fingers up your vagina. Think about your environment. What do you want in there? Candles, music, oils, scents, photos. You can make it as homey as you like. I recommend bringing a pillow and blanket from home. This is essential. Make sure you get a nice playlist together which is beneficial to you. What makes you happy? What makes you relaxed? Get it together. If you have to be alone and your birth partner can't be there, then there's some things that you can prepare in advance. Firstly, some voice notes. Get them to record some voice notes for you, encouraging voice notes, affirmations, or just ones that are just chatty voice notes that are going to make you feel better. Video chats. Video chats are great, and you're able to do this when you're on the ward. There's no problem in doing that and communicating back and forth with them. Having a piece of clothing or something with you that smells like them. This could be a t-shirt, a jumper, maybe you want to put that on, but something that smells that's really going to act as an anchor to help you feel relaxed and secure. 4, COVID and birth rights. Oh yes, you've got birth rights. Whoop whoop. No, but seriously, you've got birth rights and you can act on those birth rights, let me assure you. And the thing is, COVID doesn't affect it quite as much as we think. If you go to www.birthrights.org, not right now, but after this video, then you can find out and learn exactly what your birthrights are. But let me just explain a few of them. You're completely free to make your own choices about pregnancy and childbirth. If you don't want that vaginal examination, with fingers stuck up your vagina, sweeping around the cervix, in the middle of the hospital, in bright lights with 10,000 people saying, oh, look at that, then you don't have to. And actually, this doesn't predict necessarily the truth of how dilated you are. You could actually be having lots of vaginal examinations for the heck of it. And we don't want that because the cervix is pretty shy and it will do a runner. You always have to give consent. They can't just come in and say, I'm going to do this now. That's not how it works. They have to get your consent, so they can't do anything without that. So please know that you can say no at any time. So COVID regulations at the moment in most trusts, although this does differ, so please refer back to your trust in the UK or the rules and regulations in the country that you're in to check. But at the moment, they're saying that a birth partner cannot be with you until you're in established labour. So how do they know if you're in established labour? They don't have to do a vaginal examination to tell if you're in established labour. There are other methods which an experienced midwife will know, and they are medically trained, so they know exactly what to do. That's what they're there for. Other than that, all of your birthrights should still stand. And if you feel at any point uncomfortable or feel like you're not being listened to, you can stand up and say something. Make sure you ring your trust in advance of going to the hospital if that's the place you've chosen to give birth, to find out the exact rules and regulations so that you can prepare, because preparation is key. So I'm just going to give you a bonus bit here, and that's about the secret of birth. Do you want to know what the secret is? It's actually not even a secret. It's oxytocin. Oxytocin is life. Oxytocin, the hormone of love. If you don't know about oxytocin, then you need to know, because it's definitely been flowing around your body if you've been having a good time. So oxytocin, what even is oxytocin? Well, it is the main hormone when it comes to birth, and it's gonna take you through your labor and get you to the end before adrenaline kicks in for a little bit and then oxytocin makes an appearance again. But what if adrenaline comes before that point? You're in trouble. So oxytocin needs to be present throughout the whole of your labor in high levels, really, because you want it to enable you to progress your labor. You want to bring your baby earthside in the most relaxed and efficient way. If adrenaline comes along and says do one, then you're quite likely to halt your labor and you're going to be sitting around waiting for adrenaline to do one. Let me talk you through the stages of labor which oxytocin plays a very specific role. 1, baby's head stretches the cervix and in turn stimulates the body to produce oxytocin. 2, oxytocin enters the bloodstream and starts your labor. That's what actually starts the contractions. This causes the baby to tilt clockwise, in turn pushing on the cervix, enhancing those contractions and intense feelings. During transition, just before you're ready to push, you're going to feel a rush of adrenaline, and that's okay because that rush of adrenaline is giving you that boost that you need for that last moment of when the baby arrives earthside. Then oxytocin will take over, and that will help you create that special bond with your baby. Did you love this video? I really hope you did, and I really hope it makes some kind of difference to your birth. Please feel free to come and join me over at the Naked Doula YouTube page and subscribe to see more birth informative videos and lots of exciting visual content.